Hello everyone, Colt45 coming at you with a little bit of a different video today. So, earlier I was recording a draft series, which will be up on my channel shortly. Check it out if you want to, or don't, if you don't, that's fine too. Anyways, I drafted a green-red deck, and I drafted Rishkar Pima Renegade. Now, Rishkar has been touted as one of the best rares in the set, which I was happy about when I opened it. I was already in green, and it's a great card in limited. I mean, really great. So I don't really have any use for it as far as constructed is concerned, though. I don't play a lot of constructed, so I was going to sell this card. So I jumped over to MTGO Wiki Price. This is the website that I use very regularly to price my cards so that I can continue to draft, because it's super easy to find out where you stand with certain things, and they pull in your credit from other bots. You can see all my credits here. Not a lot. I sell things very regularly and I get as much as I can out of them, but in any case, Wiki price. So I was looking at Rishkar's price, which I believe is like $3. Let's take a look. Here he is. Yeah, so they're buying around three ticks, right? 2 or 3 ticks. What I found interesting about this is at this screen, which I believe, no. So anyways, I was trying to look up his price, so I went to the rare page, and Walking Ballista has been the #1 rare in the set since the day it came out. I've drafted a couple of them, and I sold them immediately because they were like 18 ticks. Now they are like 9 or 10. So that was no big deal. Disallow has been a big deal because the copycat deck that recently top 8'd, I don't know if it won, but it top 8'd an SCG just recently. The copycat deck was extremely just straight up control, win with the combo, and that was all fine and dandy. That makes sense to me because people are trying to pick up this deck that won. Now, what I found interesting was that Metallic Mimic is so high on this list. So WikiPrice has now started sorting their cards by their price. I don't know if that's something that recently happened. I just noticed it, but these are sorted by price now. So Walking Ballista is #1. Notice the creature type of Walking Ballista is a construct. Disallow is fine because that is a big card in one of the top decks right now. Metallic Mimic was strange to me because I've drafted 3 of these cards since the release of Aether Revolt, and I think I sold mine for about half a ticket a piece, or about 50 cents a piece. Now this card is selling for 4.5 tickets, buying for 4. I thought that was a little strange. So we continue down the line, and Spire of Industry is way up here now. I also sold one of these just the other day. I think it was about a quarter of a ticket, so about 25 cents. This card is now $3. Buying for 4 in some places. These guys don't have any tickets. You're not going to get that much for them, but about 3 is reasonable. I thought that was kind of interesting. These 2 cards that I've drafted multiple times and sold for next to nothing have suddenly spiked over 3 tickets, and 3 tickets is a lot for MTGO. If you don't play Magic Online, the majority of your standard cards are going to be $10 or less, and $10 is usually where a mythic lands that is extremely desirable, and you have exception, of course, like getting an ally of Zendikar. Let's take a look at him right now. I think, what set was he in? Duh. He wasn't an Oath, was he? No. This goes to show how much I know you guys. Jeez. Jeez. What was the set before Oath? Battle. Yeah. Here we go. Gideon is 21 tickets because he is a staple of the format. And he gets played in other formats, I believe. I don't really know. I don't follow Modern or Legacy or anything like that very closely. But Gideon is a very, very good card. 21 tickets is very high for a Mythic. And this card it's really high, not only because, Battle for Zendikar is not really being drafted online anymore, so they're not being opened, but he's just a staple of the format. So you have exceptions like Gideon. Ulamog, who sees play in Modern, I do believe, is $6. Look at the difference there. So you're looking at 10 or less for most of your staples for pretty much any format on Magic Online. I also noticed that Tezzeret the Schemer is keeping up here. And I don't, again, I cannot say that I really follow Constructed that closely. I have played Standard a lot in the past. I recently just sold all of my Standard stuff because I'm not really interested in playing a format where Copycat exists. And to me, drafting is just a lot more fun. But anyways, Tezzeret, I think when the set released, was around $10. He is still around $10. And I don't know that anybody's really playing it. Let's take a look. MTG Top 8 in Standard. We have Azorius Aggro, which will not be playing Tezzeret, right? We have Mardu Aggro, not playing Tezzeret. Rakdos, Gruul, Selesnya, Golgari, Orzhov. Look at all this aggro, you guys. Geez, 68% of the format is aggro, according to this. This was the 29th of January, 2017. Copycat. Rakdos aggro. Let's see. Do we see any Tezzeret in here? I don't see any Tezzeret in here. How about this one? No. Can we find any Tezzeret in this set? Well, not this set. I'm sorry. In this top 8 here. Colossus Aggro Affinity. There's some Tezzerets. That's interesting. So the Colossus deck is cool. Notice Colossus's creature type there. Weird. Golgari? No. Another copycat. Look at that. 4 copycats. Some more Golgari. So in this top 8 of the most recent MTG top 8 competitive Standard League, we have a total of 3 Tezzerets. And Tezzeret's still holding around 10 ticks, which is pretty interesting. He seems like a decent enough card, I guess. People weren't very high on him with the set reviews that I listened to and stuff, though. I didn't listen to Limited Resources, or I didn't really look at the MTG Goldfish analysis, I guess. They talk about it on their podcast too. I really love the MTG Goldfish podcast, by the way. If you guys are listening, Richard, Seth, Chaz, you guys are great, but not very high on Tezzeret, and I'm curious as to why he's been staying around 10 tickets. So in any case, I started going down the line, because I noticed that our Metallic Mimic and Spire of Industry are pretty high on the price list now, and they haven't been. So now I jump down to Uncommons, and Reverse Engineer has now outpaced Felidar Guardian, which I think is really interesting, because this card, Felidar Guardian, is reflected in 4 of the most recent top 8 from a competitive Constructed League online. But Reverse Engineer is somehow almost a ticket. Almost $1 for Reverse Engineer. Now, this card has Improvise, which I find pretty interesting. And Tezzeret's Simulacrum is also up here at almost a ticket. Now, the supply is going to be short on this because I believe this is a Planeswalker deck card. Now, this here, the creature type is a little bit different from what we've seen. But if you control a Tezzeret, you just get to bolt someone, which seems pretty good. I don't know if that really lines up super well because I mean, I suppose it does. If you go 3 to 4 on Tezzeret, then you just have a bolter and they have to deal with your stupid 3 mana 2/3. So I don't know. I found that pretty interesting myself. This was in the uncommons. Winding Constrictor is down here. Card never really spiked all that much. You have a Johnny's Comrade, which is also a Planeswalker deck card, I think, which should be up there because the supply is going to be limited on these cards, right? So that's fine. So I don't know why this is here. We jump down to Kaladesh now. And looking at the mythics for Kaladesh, Saheeli Rai is way up, which rip me, because you know what? I really thought I should have bought these cards when they were a tick and a half. Planeswalkers that are that low, even for MTGO, I feel like I should always just buy a playset, because what am I losing? You know, $5? $5 for a card that never goes anywhere? Who cares? It's always going to be a ticket. Anyway, she spiked when Felidar Guardian was spoiled. She was like 25 at one point online, which is insane. But Torrential Gearhulk, again, this card goes in with Saheeli Rai's deck, the copycat deck. And that's all fine and dandy. Chandra, she sees playing all sorts of formats. And Verdurous Gearhulk has been a big deal in the green-black deck. Now, this is a little strange to me, because Nissa Vital Force, who has seen Standard play already, is below our 2 Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers. So Chandra, nobody's selling. She's $4. Whatever. Nissa Nature's Artisan, also $4. Now, that could just be due to short supply, I suppose, because the Planeswalker decks online are... Let's take a look. Ready to play decks. We want Tezzeret, Master of Metal. These decks are $15. Now, nobody's going to buy a $15 deck to get a $5 Planeswalker. So maybe it's just due to short supply. I don't know. Seems strange, though. I mean, look at these other cards behind it. Nissa Vital Force, Sky Sovereign Console Flagship, Aetherworks Marvel. You know, maybe this deck folded with the bans, but these cards are not good, right? So, Kaladesh, let's move down to the rares. What? Verdant Crescendo. Search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Search your library for and graveyard for a card named Nissa Nature's Artisan. Reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. Again, this card is $4. 4 tickets online. That's pretty high for a rare. You know, we just saw Ulamog. Where did Ulamog go? I probably don't have him up anymore. Ulamog was in, not Kaladesh, was in Battle for Zendikar or whatever. I mean, do I want to show it? Sure. Ulamog's a mythic, and he's 6. And this card has seen play in other formats. I am sure of that. So Verdant Crescendo, that's a little strange to me. Going down the list, yeah, the lands are all great. Everybody needs them, so that's all fine. Bristling Hydra, the green-red energy deck, was a thing before the SCG series all came up, so that makes sense. Fumigate is spiked because of their use in the Copycat X. Liberating Combustion. I don't know if that is or is not a Planeswalker deck card. In any case, we move down to the uncommons. Guardian of the Great Conduit. This card's half a ticket for an uncommon. This seems a little weird. As long as you control a Nissa Planeswalker, he gets +2/+0 and Vigilance. So we have a 4 mana 4/4 Reach Vigilance if you have a Nissa Planeswalker. Commons. Flame Lash. I know that this card has seen some play somewhere. I'm not real sure where. But this is definitely a Planeswalker deck card. Woodland Stream. The Bant decks need Woodland Streams, so that's all fine and dandy. And number 3 is a Elemental. 2 mana 3/2, by the way, which is actually a pretty good price, you know. So all of these really strange cards that have been spiking in the days leading up to the Pro Tour. Pro Tour starts right here. It just got me thinking, you know, if Metallic Mimic is going to be up there, if Spire of Industry is going to be up there, what is driving the price of these cards? Is this a casual card? Because casual cards on MTGO have very little value unless they're quite old or very hard to come by. And this thing's being opened every single day right now. We're in a brand new set that's being drafted all the time. So why did this card go from half a ticket when I opened it to almost 5 tickets now? Now, what I was looking at with some other cards that I showed you guys, the constructs. The constructs were very interesting to me. Let's duplicate this. We're going to set up our search criteria. And let's go for constructs. Nope, not crabs. So standard constructs. Alright, we have a 7 mana 5/7. I don't think that'll do in standard. 2 mana 03. Probably not. 1 mana 1/1 that pumps. Still probably not good enough. Bomat Courier. This card has seen some play. And I personally think this card is quite good. Like, really good, actually. This card has been a 1 mana Lightning Bolt plus draw 4 for me, which is pretty insane. The Gear Hulks, they're all constructs. Chief of the Foundry, construct. Foundry Inspector, also a construct. Most of these artifact creatures that people know about are constructs. So with Metallic Mimic being way up there, also being an artifact, and with Reverse Engineer being the second most expensive uncommon in the set, something tells me that maybe, just maybe, there is a construct tribal deck out there. Metalwork Colossus. These decks have been big. They've really gotten there. These decks are insane, honestly. Being able to play a 10/10 for free. That's insane. Again, all of the Gear Hulks are there. And with Spire of Industry, you're not really limited with your mana. So maybe there's something here with the constructs, you know? That just got me thinking. And you know, earlier I was watching Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, stream for MTG Goldfish, and he played against the Construct Tribal deck, which I thought was really strange. You know, they played Metallic Mimic, and they named Construct, and Seth himself was like, okay, I guess we're playing against Construct Tribal? And I'm sitting there watching the chat, and the chat kind of goes off and saying that, oh, you know, this deck can be very explosive. Now, I'm not some crazy brewer. I don't really have the time or the energy or really the interest, I guess, to try to put together some insane deck like this and try to maximize my value and all that stuff. I just don't do that kind of a thing. I'm not a big brewer, but reverse engineer's up there. So that makes me think maybe there's something going on there. So why is Nissa Verdant Crescendo and Nissa's Nature's Artisan? Why are these cards expensive? I guess because they're Planeswalker deck cards? But then, why are these elementals expensive? I'm wondering if Metallic Mimic has something to do with elementals. So, because again, here we go. There's a 2-mana 3/2 elemental. That's decent, okay? Now, if you get a Metallic Mimic out, and then you play your 2-mana 3/2 elemental, suddenly you're playing a 2-mana 4/3, which is actually extremely good. Extremely good. And this card is more expensive than a card like Attune with the Aether or Cathartic Reunion, which both see play in other decks that have actually put up results. So I go back to Gatherer, and I'm looking up elementals here. So we have Bloodbriar, which you can sack something and get a +1/+1 counter. It's a 3-mana 2/3. Nothing real impressive there. Embodiment of Insight, 5-mana 4/4. I mean, I guess you could have a 5-mana 5/5. Green Warden of Marasa, though. This card has been quite good. The recursion effect, I mean, recursion in Magic is just a good thing. So maybe there's something there. I don't know. Here's our Guardian. Grove Rumbler, I don't know. It's a 4-mana 3/3. Nobody wants to play that card. This one's interesting. Insidious Mist. No, I don't think they're going to play that card. Omnath is a top end 7-mana elemental that makes fucking 6/6 elementals. No, that seems a little too cute. You really do. I mean, if you're playing Omnath, you're probably winning. Seed Guardian. Now, Seed Guardian is interesting to me because this card is a good value card. It is a 4-mana 3/4 reach, and when it dies, you get an XX green elemental creature token, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So it just gives you a free dude, which is also an elemental. So the Harvest is here. Top end, maybe? I mean, I don't know. Probably not. Seems not great. Here's our Terrain Elemental, Undergrowth Champion. People were really excited about this card when BFZ dropped. Maybe as your 3-drop? Who knows? Woodland Wanderer. I personally played with this card. This card is really, really good. And it seems pretty good with Spire of Industry as well. Now, you're not necessarily going to have your artifacts in your elemental deck. But Woodland Wanderer, that is a really good card. I mean, it's a 4-mana 2/2, but with the potential to be a, 4-mana 6/6? So, I don't know. I just, I thought it was really interesting. And considering the fact that we are in the first 2 days leading up to the Pro Tour, why are all these cards suddenly spiking? Why are they suddenly coming to the top of wiki price? And maybe it has something to do with the Pro Tour. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know, personally. I really don't. But I thought it was a little interesting, and I thought I'd share my thoughts with all of you. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Maybe we'll see a sweet elemental deck at Pro Tour Kaladesh, or Aether Revolt, sorry. Or maybe we'll see like a sweet construct deck, you know? don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes because I sure hope that this card does not dominate the Pro Tour. And I think the majority of people agree with me. So I hope you all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do. I'll catch you guys in the next one.